Alright, so I received this message. Want to share the message. I mean, this person, I'm not going to say his name or anything, and reading his message is not really going to jeopardize his privacy. So I'm just going to read the message because I think it's a good message that I want to share, and also offer my feedback and the thoughts because that's what he asked about. So he says that he's half Arabic and half Chinese and a mixture of other European ethnicities, but he says his family identifies as white. He said his father, who's Arabic, got deported back to Yemen when he was 9 years old. He never learned how to speak Arabic or anything about the culture because living with his mom, she brought him up to to not be like that. He said his whole life he was a lone wolf because he didn't identify with white people or Arabic people. He said he pretty much has the worst of both worlds. He said people often try to bully him because he's such an outcast. He said he usually gets along with black people and some Mexicans, but he says his best friend is white. He said that he knew that Bruce Lee also went through this being Chinese American, and then he said that me being American Chinese, I probably went through this as well. He's just asking from my perspective. The first thing that stands out to me, he says that often people try to bully him because he's such an outcast. Now, bullying happens for a lot of different reasons, So you could be bullied for this situation, but there's also going to be a lot of fat people that get bullied as well all the time. And then there's going to be gay people that get bullied all the time. There's going to be just people in general, like people that are seen as nerds or bookworms get bullied. People with disabilities get bullied. Like people, a lot of people get bullied. Blacks get bullied by white supremacists. And you got, a bunch of people that bully Chinese people all the time. Black people and white people and just everybody. So, bullying happens for a lot of different reasons, not just this, So what I say about the bullying is to use that as a motivation to develop yourself to be a stronger person, And that's one of the main reasons that I was drawn to the martial arts is because you're developing yourself in areas where it's kind of like an anti-bully formula, that you practice. I mean, first you're practicing how to fight, defend yourself and be capable. And any type of bullying that leads towards violence, you're prepared for it. I mean, not only you're prepared for it, but you're good at it. So that is one thing that stands out, about martial arts. Another thing is the fitness, like when you get more fit, you end up just automatically getting more respect, because people see that you're strong, you're muscular, and they see your physique. A lot of times that alone will prevent bullying. And then the other thing about martial arts is it teaches you meditation, so it could kind of teach you to creatively deflect this negative energy and to use that as like a motivational energy to better yourself in other areas of life rather than resulting in violence. So basically, bullying should almost motivate you to train in martial arts so then you will no longer get bullied. Or if you do get bullied, you'll be able to handle it with greater ease and it's not going to be a big deal. Or you just basically don't get bullied often because people end up respecting you because you train in the martial arts, for example, like somebody that's powerful, he could be a martial artist, or he could be a police officer, or he could be a judge, he could be a lawyer, he could be a doctor, he could be just somebody that's like super rich. When people have a lot of power, they get bullied less because they're the ones that are in power. So meaning, say you go to work and your boss, he's paying you money, it wouldn't be a good idea to try to bully him because he's your boss and he'll just fire you. So people in power don't really get bullied because they have power. It's the people that are weak and the people that don't have power that typically are the ones that get picked on. So one way, one thing that this could do is to help you, motivate you to get in the position of power so that you don't have to deal with that. You know, um, Not just the martial arts, but it could be also like martial arts could also lead you towards being more assertive, being more confident, so then you just stand up for yourself more. You know, some people, they don't even know how to fight physically, but like verbally they know how to fight back. Like they know how to be quick-witted. It could be like a comedian. He might not be able to physically fight, like say Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock, but verbally they are great fighters. Like they know how to basically put a person in their place through words. So comedians are an example of that, and even like rappers, you know, that are really good at putting words together, and they think really quickly. It's like they're like verbal. They're like masters of like verbal self-defense, you know. And the martial arts can lead you towards that as well. So there's just a lot of different ways of defending yourself. There could be the verbal self-defense, the physical self-defense. It could be just the intimidation factor of just fitness training, and then people just kind of um, they get intimidated by you just by looking at you, and then they just don't even want to mess with you. There's just a lot of different ways of developing yourself to prevent this bullying, so then these bullies could just go bully somebody else and they won't bully you. So that's my feedback on that aspect. That's the one that kind of stood out to me the most. Other things that I would recommend is, even though your mother doesn't, you know, even though she doesn't, your mom does not promote for you to get, get close to your Arabic roots, I recommend that you should, especially since your father is the one who is Arabic. It wasn't your mother, but your father. And typically, if you're a male, you're going to have more of your genetics that are going to be more associated with your father. So you're probably more Arabic than white or Chinese because of your father. And if you don't know how to speak the language, if you don't know how to read or write it, if you don't know anything about the culture, that is something that you should not necessarily just blame your mom for, but you should also just take responsibility and see that you are the one who decided to not get close to that, to know that part of you. You could put more effort to get to know that part of you. You could learn the language, you could try to learn it, you could learn to read and write it, you could start studying the culture, you could start just reading books on it, and just, watching movies and videos, and just kind of be more in tune with that part of you, because the more you turn away from it, the more you're turning away from yourself. And there's beauty in it, and you got to learn to appreciate that. Even for myself, I don't speak it that well. I can't read or write it, but at the same time, I really do appreciate the culture and the history, and I want to learn more about it as much as I can, and I learn about the way of life, and I live it, and I teach it, and the martial arts is associated with that culture. So it's like I'm keeping it as alive as much as I can, and I recommend for you to do the same, because that's who you are, and the more that you feel comfortable with yourself, then the more others will feel comfortable around you, But essentially, if you grow up with the self-hatred, which many people do, even at one, maybe even at some point in my life, and my sister and other people that I've seen that are Asian American, it's almost like they have this self-hatred, towards their Asian roots, because they see everybody else making fun of them, the Asians, so they just start making fun of themselves. And then they are not proud to be Asian. They wish they were something else. And that is basically denying who you are. And that's a self-destructive path, And that's something, need to grow out of, and you need to learn to accept yourself, love yourself. Once you learn to accept and love yourself, then you start putting effort to learn how to, to locate individuals that accept and love you for who you are. And there will be people that don't like you. There will be people that hate you, but it doesn't matter, because even if you hate yourself and you pretend to be somebody that you're not, there's still going to be the people out there that hate you and don't like you anyway. So it's always a better route to just kind of know yourself, be yourself, love yourself, and then just connect with the people that accept you, um, and forget about those people, ignore those people that don't like you, for who you are. So I recommend to really get more in tune, with the Arabic side of you, which is half of you, and then the other half, that could come secondary. Learn. I mean, you already know about the American culture. So after you learn about the Arabic culture, then start putting your efforts into learning more about the Chinese culture. So then now you got the Arabic culture, the Chinese culture, and then the American culture is already, so you're already surrounded by. So that's something that you don't need to put. That's something you don't need to put extra effort in, because it's just where you live. But learning about China, learning about the Middle East is something that you should put effort towards, so then you can learn about yourself and where you came from. Okay. So you usually get along with black people and Mexicans. In a way, I'm very similar, because I kind of just connect with them a lot, because I feel that we're in the same struggle. It's not that every single Mexican or every single Hispanic or every single black person I get along with, but I just get along with a majority of people I interact with of those races, because we're in the same struggle. If you look at it right now, it's like Mexico, you got a lot of people from Mexico that are trying to get into America, and they're trying to cross the borders, and then they get deported back, and then there's a lot of racism against Mexicans because because of that. And when you see that racism as a Chinese person, you just have compassion, because you see that that same hatred very easily could just be directed towards you too. And when you see the racism against the blacks from the white supremacists, it's just hard not to have compassion, because you already know that that racism can very easily just point it towards you as well. And it has, and it will be. Just like right now, like recently with the Oscars, Chris Rock, a black person, was openly, pretty much putting down Asians, for the whole world to laugh at, and that's just a common theme in a lot of comedies out there, a lot of movies out there all over Hollywood. It's just like this accepted racism towards Chinese people, accepted racism towards Asians, and black people aren't complaining about it, white people aren't complaining about it, because they're the ones that are laughing at it. And there's just not enough Chinese people with influence to even stand up for themselves or to stand up for the community. So anytime you see people get bullied, or people in power being racist towards a group of people, is you just start to connect with that group of people, because you know that you are a part of that group. So to me, the way that I see it, a black person, a Hispanic person, a Chinese person, an Asian person, they're all the same. They're all minorities, and they're all they're all taking part in the same struggle. It's just that there are some minorities that have been whitewashed. There are some minorities that have become puppets. There are some minorities that basically have become what Malcolm X would call the house Negroes. The individuals that are basically being used as tools, to further suppress the minorities, and You could have a black person be just as racist towards a Asian person or a Hispanic person than a white supremacist, you know, and you could have an Asian person be racist towards a black person just as bad as a white supremacist, you know. So really, it's about, you know, really which side are you on? Are you a part of the struggle, or are you a part of the elite, you know, or the people that are basically, you know, the supremacy group. You know, supremacy group is gonna be the white supremacists, and then they recruit people from the minority group to become a part of their team to suppress the minorities. You know, so that's what I see. You know, and you know, I'm just the type of person that I'm always gonna be a part of the struggle, and I identify with people that are within that group. So within my life, it's the same thing, you know. I identify with a lot of minorities and the struggles that they go through because I'm a minority myself. And I also get along really well with the white people that I do encounter that have that compassion towards minorities, because there are white people out there that have a lot of compassion. You know, like somebody like Michael Moore, you know, spoke up against the Oscars, for example. And I saw George Clooney said something about it. I saw Matt Damon say something about it. I saw Dustin Hoffman say something about it. It's like you got white people that are standing up against racism, and those are the individuals that are pretty much like, you know, through their own drive, through their own compassion, they are standing up for the people that are getting bullied, pretty much. And those are the people that I resonate with, you know. But there's not that many of them, you know. But you see that as well. You see the white people. There's some white people that want to help the minorities, and then you got some minorities that want to pretend like they're white and then suppress the minorities, their own people. You know, you got a Chinese person that pretty much could be hired by a white supremacist to turn against his own people, you know, to pretty much become a traitor or whatnot, and kill off his own people or whatever, you know. I mean, that's the type of thing that we go through nowadays. It's not even about race anymore. It's just about which team are you on. Are you on this team that wants to bully people, or are you on this other team where you're the one who's getting bullied, but then you want to rise up against that and fight against that, you know? And Malcolm X would call it the house Negroes and the field Negroes. Tupac was a field Negro. Malcolm X was a field Negro. You know, so that's pretty much it.